Good afternoon. This is Alvarez, and I will be presenting the overall thoughts on the process. For me, it's the practical process of a group engaging and working as a team to come to resolution about how to get to that resolution. So initially, it was difficult just all of us getting together. All four of us on the same schedule, but Deborah facilitated that process and took the lead and connected all of us. So initially, of course, we debated ideas about the approach and the assignment, and decided who would take whatever particular issue of the subject matter. We had some discussion about how should we do the video? Should we do it as one group or should we do them individually? We went back and forth because I didn't have the technical expertise, and some others as well. So Brandon took the lead in that and decided, hey, if you guys do yours individually, then I'll find a way to put it all together. And of course, after that, we set deadlines for reconvening to make sure that we were all on the same schedule as related to what we were going to do. One of the more interesting things about a group project is the one-on-one conversation you have with group members. My one-on-one conversation with Deborah, how I discovered the nuances of confidentiality in a school setting, that sometimes teachers use the confidential information that has been shared to help the student, and they use it to prejudice the student or to see the student in a different light. So armed with those facts, we discussed how we needed to be sensitive to that dynamic as we contemplate the course of action for Frances to take. Also, one of the one-on-one conversations I had with Dylan really kind of confirmed what Deborah and I talked about. He was also aware of that dynamic of the teacher kind of exposing and using the personal information or confidential information of the student against him. We recognized that we were without a state acknowledgement in the facts that they were given, so we would not be able to use a state immigration law as a guide. So therefore, we were going to rely on the ACA, the ASCA, and the ethical decision-making model to determine the course of action for Frances to take. I also had some one-on-one conversation with group members discussing the views and understanding and application of ACA, ASCA, and the ethical decision-making model, because all of us has already participated in the group in an individual project where we had to apply those same ethics and the decision-making model, and how we came to that conclusion on our other project. We recognize that ACA and the ASCA support for advocacy for clients, because we consider that Frances' role should be one of advocacy in terms of exploring the food dilemma or issue, finding an interpreter, kind of the discrimination that was described in the facts given, bullying policy, if you will, understanding the ICE policy in that area. As the facts noted, some of the students' parents had been deported already, so we wanted to kind of investigate that, see what does she need to find out about ISIS and as it relates to that community. And we also consider, as we talked about all of that, how Frances needed to balance her role as an advocate without exposing Esmeralda's parents to deportation, because we understand from the facts, part of her anxiety came from the thoughts of her parents being deported. We discussed that based on the facts, it didn't appear that Frances developed a plan or course of action once she found out from Esmeralda that her parents didn't speak English well, and some other factors. So we felt like if she had addressed that by offering an interpreter, that may have eased some of the anxiety that she had, that Esmeralda had. We also discussed that Frances probably could have informed Esmeralda and the parents about confidentiality. She could have been in a group setting and informed Esmeralda, and Esmeralda could have communicated that to them, and maybe that would have alleviated some of the stress that she was feeling. And we discussed within the context of advocacy that respecting Esmeralda and her parents' autonomy to from the decision-making model was going to be something we needed to consider, because even with the idea of confidentiality, they may decide, and they get to decide, hey, we still don't want the food assistance, we still don't want an interpreter, and we still don't want any other help you want, because even though you say that it'll be confidential because of the fear of deportation. So all of these things we discuss in terms of how we should get to decision, and most importantly, how that Francis should be an advocate for Esmeralda. Thank you.